Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to jump straight into the material you've shared with us today. Looks like a stack of recent news, summaries, articles, specifically from CoinMarketCap dated June 7th, 2025.
That's right. And our goal here really is to take your source material and kind of unpack these different pieces of information.
Yeah, look at headlines that might seem disconnected maybe.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And pull out the key insights, the threads that might be important, just to give you a clearer picture of what's happening in the crypto market, right now.
Okay. And we've definitely got a mix in this stack you sent. Some predictions about the big cryptos, news involving some major companies in the space.
Yeah.
And even, look here, some pretty surprising individual market actions that your sources caught.
So by exploring these different angles, all coming from the material you provided, we hope to help you cut through some of the noise.
Right. Understand the core ideas, see how these different bits might actually fit together.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's dive into the stack of info you sent over. So, kicking things off, one of the first items that kind of jumps out from your sources is this prediction. It suggests a potential divergence. Bitcoin's price might cool off,
Wow.
while Ethereum looks potentially ready for a significant move upward.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that view, from your material anyway, is the contrast it highlights. It's suggesting that even between the two biggest ones,
Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah.
the near-term outlook isn't necessarily the same, according to this analysis. One facing maybe some headwinds, the other possibly having strong momentum, maybe linked to high volume seen in certain ETH tokens mentioned in the source.
Huh. So definitely not a one-size-fits-all forecast from these reports. Okay, switching gears then to the corporate side of things highlighted in your sources. There's some pretty significant news about Arca, the asset manager.
Ah, yes.
Your material says they've divested all their shares in Circle.
Right. And this move, according to the source you shared, it seems to stem from a dispute over IPO allocation.
IPO allocation.
Yeah, Arca's CIO, Jeff Dorman. The report says he was pretty critical of Circle's approach.
Okay, so this isn't just a simple sale then.
No, not at all. It kind of raises questions, doesn't it, about maybe confidence in Circle, the company behind USDC.
Right, and how the market might see such a, public disagreement from a known player.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that these corporate strategies and even disputes can ripple out and affect perception of linked assets, like stablecoins in this case.
That definitely underscores that interconnectedness, corporate actions and market sentiment. Speaking of major players, your sources also included an update from Coinbase. Their CEO, Brian Armstrong, looks like he addressed the issue of account freezing.
Yes, he did. And the report you provided highlights a really notable figure there, an 82% reduction in account freezing issues.
82%, that's huge.
It is. The source frames it within Coinbase's stated commitment to improving user experience and transparency. And while it seems like maybe just a support metric, that kind of big improvement, it really speaks to platform stability and user trust.
Yeah, which are absolutely crucial differentiators in the, competitive exchange landscape.
Yeah.
And 82% reduction suggests this was a big focus area for them. And that level of improvement, well, it would likely impact user satisfaction quite a bit, you'd imagine.
For sure.
Now, here's where we see a very specific and frankly bold corporate adoption strategy from your sources. News about Craig Kidd.
Ah, yes. Known for early roles at Twitter, Coinbase.
Right. And his involvement now with No Labs.
Yeah, the material you shared indicates Kidd is set to acquire a controlling stake in No Labs, using a mix of Bitcoin and cash, apparently.
And stepping in as CEO and chairman, too.
Correct. But the real headline, the thing highlighted in the source, is No Labs adopting a Bitcoin treasury strategy.
Okay.
And get this, Bitcoin making up a remarkable 82% of its treasury assets.
Wow, 82%.
Yeah, this isn't just like putting a bit of Bitcoin on the balance sheet for diversification.
No, that sounds way beyond that.
It's a very high conviction, deep strategic allocation. Bitcoin as a primary treasury asset. It's a move that really signals strong belief in BTC's long-term value from a corporate perspective.
That 82% figure certainly stands out, speaks volumes about their confidence, as reported in your source. Okay, so moving from these specific corporate strategies to maybe broader market sentiment captured in your material, there's a piece about whales.
Ah, the large holders.
Yeah, going all in on BTC calls is how the source puts it.
Right, and this particular article in your stack connects this whale activity to positive signals in the wider global markets.
Like what?
Specifically, it references the recent U.S. jobs report. Showed 139,000 jobs added in May, which beat expectations.
Okay.
and unemployment held steady at 4.2%.
Hmm.
So the source suggests this positive macro data is influencing these big players.
To express bullishness on Bitcoin through options.
That's the connection the source makes, linking traditional economic health indicators directly to crypto market positioning by these whales.
It's fascinating how those traditional economic indicators can, directly influence positioning by the biggest players in the crypto options market. Okay, let's pivot to a very specific, almost audacious trade mentioned in your sources.
Ah, yes, this one stood out. There's a report highlighting a trader known as Ogle, making a $1 million short trade against the Trunket token.
$1 million short on the Trump token.
On the Hyperliquid platform, yeah. And the source emphasizes they used 10x leverage.
Oof, high leverage.
Very. Noting the liquidation price is precariously close at $12.49 near their entry range.
Wow. That is a high-stakes bet on a very particular, and you have to assume, highly volatile asset.
Absolutely.
It really illustrates the sheer diversity of strategies out there. And the significant risks individuals are taking in certain corners of this market stands in stark contrast to the corporate treasury strategies we were just talking about, like no labs.
It certainly adds another layer to the picture of market activity captured in your material, doesn't it? Highlights both those strategic, maybe long-term plays and these high-leverage, very short-term bets.
Definitely. And finally, your sources also touched on something in the broader tech landscape that's probably worth noting.
The Google announcement.
Yeah. Google announced a preview of its enhanced Gemini 2.5 Pro model.
Right. The source describes it as their most intelligent model yet, building on the previous version.
Okay, so not directly crypto news.
No, not directly. But advancements in powerful AI models like this, they're foundational tech shifts, and they can have ripple effects across all sorts of industries, including potentially influencing future applications, future infrastructure within the crypto and Web3 space down the line, something to keep an eye on.
Okay, wow. Looking back at the sources you provided, we really covered a broad spectrum today.
We really did.
We looked at specific token price predictions, showing that potential divergence between Bitcoin and Ethereum.
And saw significant whale activity, explicitly linked by one source to macroeconomic reports like the U.S. jobs numbers.
And then we dove into the corporate news, Arca's notable divestment from Circle stemming from that dispute.
Yep. And Greg Kidd's really bold move, adopting that 82% Bitcoin treasury strategy for no labs.
Can't forget that 82%. Plus, user experience stuff like the 82% reduction in account freezing at Coinbase, another 82%.
Ah, yeah, quite the coincidence there.
We even touched on that specific, very high leverage short trade against the Trump's P token.
At the Ogle trade.
And noted Google's announcement about their enhanced Gemini 2.5 Pro AI model. This deep dive into your sources truly shows just how varied and interconnected the information landscape is in this space.
Exactly. And these pieces of news from your stack, they might seem disparate at first glance, right? Market trades may be influenced by economic reports, corporate adoption strategies, tech advancements like AI.
Yeah, all over the map.
But they're all different threads, really, contributing to the larger fabric of the current market environment. They offer unique lenses, different ways to view the health, the direction, potential opportunities, or, risks in the crypto world right now.
And that's precisely why understanding these diverse pieces of information pulled from the multiple sources you provided helps you build a more complete picture. It gives you multiple perspectives rather than just, say, one headline dictating your entire view.
Absolutely. And this collection of news from your sources kind of raises an interesting point, maybe something for you to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Given this mix of signals we've just talked through, you've got potentially bullish signs like that whale activity or that bold corporate treasury adoption.
Right.
But also notes of caution, like those specific price predictions showing divergence or the corporate divestment disputes.
Like Arca and Circle.
Exactly. How do you personally weigh these different kinds of factors when you're thinking about the market's potential future direction? Where do you put the emphasis?
That is a great question to keep considering. Thank you again for providing the source material that allowed us to do this deep dive today. We really appreciate you sharing it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope this has helped you unpack the information a bit and maybe uncover some valuable insights for yourself.
Until next time, keep exploring.